Hi guys, and welcome to Sons of Cane YouTube channel. This week we continue my journey into karate and we're looking at locks.
So as always, we will be adapting what we know, developing the principle and seeing how we can fit it in for each individual user. Okay, so for the rest of the red belt we do have, as we said before, a kata, which we've discussed, and you've seen the kata. Then we're looking at, we start off with 4 basic wrist locks, or arm bars, depending on what you call them. If you do Krav Maga, they're called cavaliers. We refer them to our own specific names, but first one would be for me, again, this is just the principle of the technique. We're not going to apply these to a combat situation just yet, but just to get the mechanics behind it. So again, be wary of your learner. What's his mobility, his pain threshold, take into account everything you need to do. Now I'm going to do this from a standing position, but we're going to change that slightly. So we have, if he just casually gives me my hand, so he's got my hand. First one would be for us, taking the hand, I've got the clear, and we've got this, the kobugashi, whatever you want to call it. So this is an example. You may have grabbed my wrist, breaking the grip, and I can then apply pressure forward and rotationally at the same time. So this is our first one. The second one, taking over in the opposite direction. So we've got the straight arm technique, putting pressure on the wrist, twisting it. Again, variants, putting pressure on the elbow, breaking the elbow slightly, getting into your meridian theory. We then have similar, but the little finger's pointing up, we're rotationally down. So the little finger is going to point up with, I'm using the wrist as a lever, I'm going to increase pressure that way. And then the last one we would use is taking the arm over the shoulder, taking it up, bending the elbow, and throwing them back. Again, you can see the limitations when I'm attacking somebody like this, but we're looking at the principles of it.
So we look from the chair position. An attack could be, it comes in for a grab. So if we look at this with the hand, we've got 2 ways we could go. As Chris said, you've got the palm up and push forward, and that's with inline hands, or from this side, hand comes across, thumb goes into the middle knuckle, and you come over that way. Exactly the same with the finger up technique. You just want to come in, bring it close to your body, and then just bow. The last technique, the figure of 4 rack, is a little bit harder in the chair because I'm trying to get up to here. But what I can do is once I've got to here, I can reverse my hand, bring you in this way, and bring you to me. It's almost like the swan, chicken wing, yeah, swan. It's like the swan position, but just by bringing my hand into here and bringing close to my body, I've got control. If I'm out here, it's a strength, and I'm going to lose. So what we need to do is that, from a chair point of view, this knuckle is the most important. If I'm coming across my hand, my thumb wants to be on that knuckle there. My fingers around the meaty part of the palm, and then just bring over. Once I'm over, keep clear of the wrist, fingers together, bring them together, into my chest, and just bow to your opponent. The same with the other side. The thumb on this hand comes into the middle, grab the meaty part, thumbs together, elbows together, bring it in, keep clear of the wrist, and bow. Again, it's all down to dexterity. I'm fortunate enough to have 8 fingers, 2 thumbs. My wrists are not too bad, although the years I've been using canes, I do get a little bit of arthritic pain in both wrists. I'm fairly mobile. Look at what your learner can do. Look at what the tools they have and adapt this principle, i.e. turning the hand to a point where it causes pain and then using the lock.
So earlier on we showed you some pushing hands. Again, we'll look at it a bit more in depth later on, but the idea is, again, from here, we're pushing and we're feeling where the energy's going, where their force is. But then you can adapt this with these locks. So I might come in and think, well, he's coming here, I can roll him here. He can feel my pressure, so if he flexes his elbow, folds back, I can feel that, so I can straighten my arm and I can go into another wrist lock. If he bends his arm, takes me across. And what you're looking for is this constant flow of these wrist locks. So there, he's in, he's got my fingers. Can I get out of that? I can't pull my hand down, but if I flex my elbow, and then I can start trying to wrap, and then again he's wrapping with me, and we're just trying to find this constant flow of what will work until we get to a position where one person says uncle. Okay, so with the first 4 ones, obviously here in this position, again I can't take him over his head. Okay, I know that if I lean too back in that chair, or Kev does, it will go over, which is fine if somebody's attacking you in a wheelchair. Okay, but again, from here, we have this position. And then practice from standing position. So again, get the basics down at one level, and then from this position, same again, I'm feeling the flow, there's a bit of pressure there, so I'm going to start trying to take his fingers, he's got my thumb, taking it over, I can bend, I've got him here, and we're just going to constantly flow and look, I'm now tied up. So again, your techniques aren't all going to work all the time. If it doesn't work straight away, move on to the next one, so develop this flow. What we quite often will see self-defense techniques, and they say somebody's grabbed hold of you and you go over and do that wrist lock, so you might come over and you peel the arm and go down. Brilliant. If I put a slight, I'm just going to put in a little bit of resistance there, I'm not going to try very hard, and he's going to try and do that technique. I'm literally not doing a lot. And it doesn't matter if they're able-bodied or not, if they're in a chair, this doesn't work. So, things we need to do. But this, we're all aware, this is our spiritual centre. Here's our power centre. So by locking on my hand to his chest, and then you can use one hand or both hands, but if he does the bow, there, he's putting that wrist lock on for me. Or, if he gives me a distraction technique, whether with his cane or empty hand,
with this hand coming over,
so that, I've forgotten about that, and it's on. So later, you need to put a bit of realism into your techniques. Don't comply with somebody to get the technique to work. If it doesn't work, don't let them think it's worked by complying with it and falling. It's really important that, yes, get the basics of the technique, get the principle, then work how to get it to work. I would not go straight in for a wrist lock myself.
No.
So it's always good, yeah, I've got the grab, I want to get that wrist lock on, but I can't go straight to it. So work with what you know to get the technique to work for you.
As with everything, we're all individuals, and we have a young lady in our club that has hypermobility, and if I put this lock onto her, she would laugh at me. I could have it twisted all the way around and she would just look at me and laugh, because her joints don't work the same way as ours does. Also, with these techniques, some respond, some don't. Like with pressure points, it's again the individual. But rather than sit there fighting with the technique, fighting to get it on, move on to the next one. And that's why we do the lock flow drills, is so that that's not working, go to a different one, that's not working, go to this one's working.
Yeah. Even applies to blocking, punching drills, which we'll be doing. I've seen so many people miss a technique and then stop. If you make a mistake, carry on. You don't want to get into that habit or that muscle memory of making a mistake and resetting yourself. You need to continually flow. You may miss the punch, you may miss the lock, but don't stop. There's a saying in Krav Maga, minimum 7. And if you miss, you don't stop and reset to 1, you carry on and then do extra techniques. So never stop, even if when you make a mistake.
Remember guys, that when you're teaching, As you see, Chris has been standing and he's also been sitting. These are perfectly good teaching styles. Try not to kneel or lean over your learner, because in a wheelchair it does become very uncomfortable. So again, you'll get to know your learner. You'll get to know their range of movement, you'll get to know what they like, they dislike. Chris and I are very, very comfortable with each other, so if I come up to do, I know, a lot with Chris and I've got it wrong, Chris will actually use his hands or it will alter my body because he's got my permission to do so. So if I've got this wrong, he'll move my thumb across and say, no Kev, that's where you know, that's perfectly okay. Get your learner's permission first though, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. I really enjoy doing the lock drills. If you want to see any more of my journey, or you want to catch up from the beginning, it's the top video. If you want to see anything from our CaneMaster series, it's the bottom one.
As always, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Write some comments in if you feel like it. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see.